Look around. You're free, they say. Free to choose. Free to scroll. Free to decide this or that. Swipe left, or maybe right. But if you're so free, why are you so tired? We live in a world that worships choice like a god, as if more options will lead to more joy, as if infinite decisions will somehow create meaning. But freedom isn't the ability to choose everything. Sometimes it's the courage to choose less. Because here's the truth, modern life won't tell you. Choice doesn't always liberate. Sometimes it paralyzes. Every morning, your brain begins bleeding energy. Not through massive life questions, but through 1,000 tiny decisions. What to eat, what to wear, what to reply, what to open, what to ignore. You have 15 tabs open, 4 apps talking to you, a fridge full of food you don't want, and a soul that's starving, not from lack of options, but from too many. And yet, you still feel like you're behind, like there's more to see, more to try, more to want. Because modern society doesn't sell simplicity, it sells stimulation, and it teaches you to crave more. More choices, more features, more filters, more versions of you, until you're so fractured, you no longer know who made the choice in the first place. What began as freedom becomes a prison of possibility. This is the illusion that the more you have to choose from, the more you become yourself. But the truth, the more you choose without meaning, the more you become a stranger to your own mind. Freedom isn't found in unlimited access. It's found in deliberate absence, in knowing what to let go of, in trusting fewer things, so the necessary can finally speak. You're not drowning in chaos, you're drowning in maybes. The human brain was never meant to be a project manager for 1,000 micro-decisions, but modern life, it made you one. You wake up, and the first thing you face isn't the world. It's a wall of options, from alarm tones to playlists, breakfast menus to clothing combos. And each tiny decision steals a fraction of your focus until your mental vault is empty before the day even begins. Psychologist Barry Schwartz calls it the paradox of choice. The more options you're given, the more paralyzed, dissatisfied, and mentally exhausted you become. It's not luxury. It's a cognitive trap. While you're choosing, your brain is doing something dangerous. It's fragmenting. The prefrontal cortex, your mind's command center, has limited bandwidth. Flood it, and it defaults, delays, or disengages. You think you're lazy, but you're just cognitively overdrawn. You're being taxed by choice. Studies show that overchoice depletes energy, increases stress, and impacts immunity. Your brain is trying to protect you from a world that never shuts up. Into that overstimulated world, you insert your dreams, your deadlines, your purpose. But it all sits on top of noise, but nothing grows on noise. Wonder why do your best ideas come in the shower or alone? Because it's the absence of choice, not the abundance, that clears the mind. Roy Baumeister's ego depletion research shows every decision consumes willpower. Once it runs out, you procrastinate, indulge, collapse. This is why you can't focus, why you're tired without doing anything, why your day feels like static. Your mental engine isn't broken, it's overbooked. Too many paths, and now it's lost the road. Choice used to be a tool. Now it's a trigger, firing hundreds of times a day. You don't even hear it anymore. You think you're in control, but really, your brain is wading through junk data, trying to find a signal. And the signal it's craving is silence. Silence isn't empty. It's how the mind breathes. And right now, your brain is suffocating on options. You thought too many choices were just life. No, it's their strategy. Confusion isn't an accident. It's a business model. Marketers learned long ago that an overwhelmed mind is a compliant mind. When your brain hits overload, it defaults to what's easiest, not what's best. And guess who decides what's easiest? They do. Walk into a supermarket. You think you're choosing, but really, you're reacting to packaging, to position, to the illusion of control. This is called choice architecture. Guide your brain to the one they profit from most. Too much choice feels exciting until it demands action. Then it feels like drowning. And when you drown, you reach for anything that floats, even if it's not yours. That's why streaming platforms autoplay. If you hesitate, they lose you. They speed up your choice by overwhelming your senses, blur want and need. You think you're building identity, but most of your choices are scripts handed to you. Choose your style, your lifestyle, your happiness. But first, choose a subscription. The more you chase freedom through personalization, the more fragmented you become. The more you believe there's a perfect fit, the more likely you are to feel it's never quite enough. This is how craving is created, not through deprivation, but through distraction. The trick isn't to trap you with one product. It's to keep you reaching. Always one decision away from fulfillment, one purchase from identity. You were told choice is power, but in the wrong hands. Choice is control. Not because they limit your freedom, but because they explode it until you forget who you were before the noise. No one warns you, not when you're handed the remote. Not when you scroll past the 34th option on the food app. Not when you pause for 17 minutes, trying to choose a caption. They don't tell you that the cost of all this choice isn't money. It's something quieter. Time, energy, clarity. Every time you hesitate between 5 choices, a small thread of your mental bandwidth unravels. Every time you question if this was the right pick, a piece of your peace dissolves. And worst of all, you don't feel the loss immediately. It builds in silence, until suddenly you're exhausted by your own life. This is the invisible erosion of modern abundance. We think freedom lies in more, but more doesn't equal meaning. More often leads to perfectionism. You start looking for the right choice, the version of you that will never regret. But perfection doesn't exist, and chasing it only creates one thing: regret. No matter what you choose, you'll always wonder what you didn't. This is called opportunity cost bias. Your brain mourns every road it didn't take. You become addicted to the illusion of a better life, just one decision away. That craving doesn't lead to satisfaction. It leads to exhaustion. You don't just waste hours. You waste identity. You become a mosaic of trends, trying to pass for a person. Psychologists call this fragmented self-identity. That's not freedom, that's dependency. And worst of all, you believe it's your fault. The system was never designed for peace. It was designed for pursuit. Even your quiet moments are hijacked. Stop choosing. Start remembering what actually matters. Not what looks best, but what brings you home. The life you were chasing was buried under too many options. It's not more you need, it's less. You've made tens of thousands of decisions in your life. But how many of them were truly yours? Not the ones driven by impulse, not shaped by suggestion, but the kind that emerge when silence begins to speak. Most people don't lack motivation. They lack mental room. You don't need more choices. You need fewer distractions. Because clarity isn't a gift. It's a skill. One you build every time you stop chasing more. So what can you do? How do you begin to unburden the mind? First, automate the trivial. Capsule wardrobes, pre-decided meals, morning routines. Each small automation is a door you no longer need to open. Second, use the 5-second rule. Count backward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and act. Third, understand your habit loops. Cue, craving, response, reward. Give it new loops, ones that anchor you to peace, not panic. Practice intentional limitation. Say no to choices that don't matter, so you can say yes to the ones that do. Make a list of things you'll no longer decide daily. Protect your mental real estate like it's sacred. You're overwhelmed because the world profits from your confusion. But you don't have to play the game. You can leave the screen. Minimalism isn't about owning less. It's about carrying less in the mind. The more you declutter your choices, the more powerful each one becomes. Not in keeping every door open, but in walking with purpose through just one. So, simplify, not to shrink your life, but to amplify your mind.